Hello children, welcome to 7th Science online classes. Physical and chemical changes. So we have finished this chapter and today we are going to discuss exercise. Exercises, page number 65 and 66 in your textbook. So as usual, many questions you have to write that answers in your textbook, and some of the questions that answers you have to write in your notebook. So the first question that you can write in your textbook. Okay, listen, the first question. Classify the changes involved in the following processes as physical or chemical changes. So some changes are given here. So here which one is physical or which one is chemical change? See, first one, photosynthesis. Photosynthesis, that is a chemical change because through that process that plants are using or plants are preparing food, okay, using carbon dioxide, sunlight, and they're happening some chemical reactions. So definitely that change is a chemical change. Second one, dissolving sugar in water. So that change is physical change because using the method evaporation, we will get back the sugar from the water. When we boil that sugar solution, we will get back sugar. So that is a physical change and there is no new substances formed. Then next one, burning of coal. So you studied that all burning, that processes are chemical change because a new substance or new product is formed through burning. So burning of coal is a chemical change. Melting of wax. Melting of wax, same as melting of ice cube. Okay, so that solid state come to the liquid state, and when it cool, that again go to that solid state. So that is a physical change and there is no new substance is formed. So melting of wax or melting of ice is a physical change. Next, beating aluminium to make aluminium foil. So that is also a physical change because here no new substance is formed, that is aluminium. Only shape is changed, only that change. Chemical change is not happening here. So beating aluminium to make aluminium foil is a physical change. Digestion of food. Digestion of food is a chemical change. Then we will go to the next question. Second question. State whether the following statements are true or false. First one. Cutting a log of wood into pieces is a chemical change. You see children, cutting log of wood. After cutting, it produced a new substance? No. So that is not a chemical change. Cutting a log of wood into pieces is a physical change, not a chemical change. So the statement is false. And next one, formation of manure from leaves is a physical change. From leaves or dry leaves, manure is formed. That manure we give to the plants. Okay, so that process, and from manure leaves again we get back leaves? No. So that is not a physical change. Here from leaves new substance, that is manure, is formed. So that is not a physical change, that is chemical change, and the statement is false. So how can you correct this statement? Formation of manure from leaves is a chemical change. Next one, iron pipes coated with zinc do not get rusted easily. You studied this process. What is this process is called? This process is galvanization. Iron coated with zinc metal. That is the prevention method of rusting. So this statement is true. Next one, iron and rust are the same substances? No, that statement is false. Iron is Fe and rust is Fe2O3, iron oxide. Iron and rust is iron oxide. So that is different substances, not the same substance. Next one, condensation of steam is not a chemical change. Yes, so that statement is true. Condensation. Condensation means what? From this vapor or gaseous state to liquid state. That is called condensation. And condensation is not a chemical change. Yes, that is not a chemical change. That is a physical change. So that statement is true. So this question also you can do in your textbook. Then third question. Fill in the blanks in the following statements. When carbon dioxide is passed through lime water, it turns milky due to the formation of calcium carbonate. So this is the answer. So carbon dioxide is passed through lime water. Okay, slaked lime water. It turns milky due to the formation of calcium carbonate, that is CaCO3. So you just go and see that chemical reaction. So you will get calcium carbonate CaCO3. Next one, the chemical name of baking soda is sodium hydrogen carbonate. Very important. The chemical name of baking soda is sodium hydrogen carbonate. Next one, two methods by which rusting of iron can be prevented are painting and galvanization, or you can write greasing. That three methods you studied: painting, greasing and galvanization. Any two you can write. Next one, changes in which only dash properties of substance change are called physical changes. Only physical properties change, we can call it as physical change. Chemical property change, we can call it as chemical change. So here physical properties. Next one, changes in which new substances are formed are called chemical changes. New substances are formed, chemical changes. So these all answers also you can write in your textbook. Fourth question. When baking soda is mixed with lemon juice, bubbles are formed with the evolution of a gas. What type of change is it? Explain. So you know that baking soda is a base and lemon juice is acid. And when acid and base react together, gas is formed and some other substances also formed. So which gas is that? Carbon dioxide gas. So read that sentence. When baking soda is mixed with lemon juice, bubbles are formed with the evolution of carbon dioxide gas. This is a chemical change. And write that reaction also: lemon juice plus baking soda gives carbon dioxide plus other substances. So any acid, any base that react to form carbon dioxide gas. Okay. Then fifth question, when a candle burns, both physical and chemical changes takes place. Identify these changes. Give another example of a familiar process in which both the chemical and physical changes takes place. See, a candle burns. Here two changes are happening, physical change and chemical change. So the melting of wax is a physical change, and the chemical change is the burning of gas with the evolution of carbon dioxide. Or you can tell that you know that the wick inside that candle, that wick, that thread-like substance, that is burning. That burning is also a chemical change. So that time the carbon dioxide gas evolved. Then give another example of familiar process in which both the chemical and physical changes takes place. So that example is digestion of food. Digestion of food, both digestion means that first we break down that food by our teeth. Okay, so that breakdown is a physical change. Just we crush that food. That is a physical change. But inside the body or inside the stomach, it started to form some chemical changes. It reacts with hydrochloric acid. Many juices are secreted. We studied that. So that juices act with the food. So that is a chemical change. And another example is growth of a person. So that is also physical change also there, and inside many chemical changes also there. So digestion of food you can write there in your notebook. So fourth and fifth question you can answer right in your notebook. Sixth question, how would you show that setting of curd is a chemical change? The setting of curd is a chemical change because curd cannot be turned back to milk. The properties of milk and curd are different. Okay, from curd we cannot get back milk. So that is why setting of curd is a chemical change. Then seventh one, explain why burning of wood and cutting it into small pieces are considered as two different types of changes. Burning of wood and cutting it into small pieces. Cutting of wood is a physical change as it does not change the nature of the wood. No new substances are formed here, only shape changed. On the other hand, burning of wood is a chemical change as wood is converted into charcoal or ash with the liberation of carbon dioxide. So when burning, that time carbon dioxide gas evolved and it formed ash, or we can write there charcoal. So this sixth and seventh question, that answers you can write in your notebook. Eighth question, describe how crystals of copper sulfate are prepared. This answer also you can write in your notebook. Crystals of copper sulfate are prepared using the crystallization method. So very important. Which method we are using? Crystallization. And in your textbook here, not spelling is not Z, that is S. Okay. So you can also write there S, crystallization S. Both are correct, but in your textbook it is S. Then that process. Take a cup of water in a beaker, add a few drops of dilute sulfuric acid to this. Okay, and why we pour some dilute sulfuric acid to this copper sulfate solution? For that crystallization, for that process, in a correct way, we add this dilute sulfuric acid. Okay. Heat the water and when it starts boiling, add copper sulfate powder while still stirring. Add the copper sulfate powder till no more powder can be dissolved. Filter into a china dish and allow it to cool. The solution should be kept undisturbed. Slowly, the crystals of copper sulfate separate out. So this video, you remember that video, I showed that video in the last class. So just remember that one and you can write your own. Okay, and this answer write in your notebook. Ninth one, explain how painting of an iron gate prevents it from rusting. Explain how painting of an iron gate prevents it from rusting. So painting is a preventive method. Rusting of iron requires contact with water and oxygen. Water is in the moisture or the water vapor in our atmosphere. So iron react with or contact with the water vapor and oxygen, then only rusting will be formed. So by painting an iron gate, we prevent the contact between iron, oxygen and water. So when we paint, there is no chance to get contact with this atmospheric oxygen or water vapor. So we can prevent rusting of iron. Then 10th one, explain why rusting of iron objects is faster in coastal areas than in deserts. So you know that desert is a hot area, there is no moisture, okay, but in coastal areas means that is near to the sea. So coastal areas are very humid, that every time the atmosphere is full with water or moisture. So that is why rusting is faster in coastal areas. Yes, just read that one. Rusting of iron requires contact with water and oxygen. In coastal areas, humidity is more in comparison to that in desert. Hence, rusting of iron object is faster in coastal areas than in deserts. So this 9th and 10th that answers also you can write in your notebook. 11th one. The gas we use in the kitchen is called liquefied petroleum gas LPG. So you have heard that liquefied petroleum gas LPG in our kitchen, that cylinder, cooking cylinder, that gas is called LPG, liquefied petroleum gas. And do you know what is CNG? CNG is compressed natural gas, CNG, and this is LPG. In the cylinder, it exits as a liquid. Do you know that in our cylinder, that is not in the gaseous, pure gaseous form, that is exits as a liquid form. When it comes out from the cylinder, it becomes a gas. So inside the cylinder, it is in the liquid form, and when we open it, that time the gas is come out. Okay. So that change A, what is that? Change A. Then it burns change, that is change B. After that, that gas burns. So that is change B. The following statements pertain to these changes. Choose the correct one. Process A is a chemical change. Here only change A is the state change from liquid to gas. So that is actually a physical change, not a chemical change. So that answer, this is wrong. Next one, process B is a chemical change, burning. So you know that burning is a chemical change. So this statement is correct. Second one, both processes A and B are chemical changes. Wrong. None of these processes is a chemical change. That is also wrong. So which is the correct one? Which is the correct one? This one. Process B is a chemical change. That is the correct one that you can do in your textbook. Then 12th one. Anaerobic bacteria digest animal waste and produce biogas. That bacteria is in the soil, anaerobic bacteria. So that bacteria digest animal waste and produce biogas. That is change A. The biogas is then burned as fuel. That is change B. The following statement pertain to these changes. Choose the correct one. Process A is a chemical change. Yes, process A is a chemical change. Correct. Process B is a chemical change. Process B, that is burning of fuel, that is also a chemical change. So that statement is correct. Both processes A and B are chemical changes. That is very, very correct. Yes. None of these processes is a chemical change. So that statement is wrong. So among the four statements, which one is the most suitable one? Both processes A and B are chemical changes. That is, bacteria digest. Digestion, that digestion is also a chemical change. And burning, that is also a chemical change. So both processes are chemical changes. So this is the correct answer. Okay, children. So this question, that answer also you can mark in your textbook. Okay, so all of you do that one and read the textbook, watch the videos in this lesson, and that answer, question answers, that also study. Okay children, so thank you, all the best.